welcome back to the Blissful Badger and my March Madness Army Showcase Showdown. Throughout this month, we're going to look at all of my armies, and I'd like you to rate these armies on 5 criteria on a scale of 1 to 10. And then at the end of the month, we're going to tally up all of the scores and see which army is the best out of my collection. So what are these criteria? 1. The paint scheme. Is my army cohesive? What level have I painted it to? Do these colors work for this army? 2. Playability. How did I go selecting models for this army? Is this a viable army on the battlefield? 3. My reason for owning it. Do I have a good justification for owning this army? 4. Theming. How much does this army fit their lore? Have I built this army to a standard that makes sense for what the army does in the lore? And 5, conversions and customization. What conversions did I make to this army? How did I make it my own? So which army are we checking out today? Today, we're looking at my Orks. Wah! Alright. So, this one has had a little bit more screen time in my videos, being that starting in 2023, I did Orktober. And in Orktober 2023, I made a 1,000-point army, plus the terrain, but I don't have that on the table today. But I did paint up 1,000 points. And it was quite a interesting experience getting 1,000 points done in a single month. So in 2024, I did it again and painted up another 1,000 points and did some kit bashes. So again, you can go back and watch those videos if you want more info about these. But in 2 Orktobers, I do have a 2,000-point Ork army now. And if you see along the back, I have quite a bit more of my Orks still to go. So I do have a Stompa and a second Stompa, all kit bashed, being built. My goal is to have them completely built before Orktober 2025, because for 2025, I want to paint 2,025 points of Orks. Yup, I said it. My goal is to have everything built before Orktober so that I can focus solely on painting them. And I think that's totally doable with 1,600 points being taken up right there. Right there. But I have Burnas and Ludas and Beastnagas and regular boys and a whole host of leaders and some grots. I want more grots for that, but I do have another pack of 10 in one of those bags. But I want to get 2,025 points of Orks painted in October 2025. I find this army so fun. The kit bashes, the conversions, the cool color options, they all deserve more interest. And so every Orktober, I give them that whole month just for them. Oh, I also still have an Ork truck for more conversions. I may pick up another mech guns before then, just so I can build up 4 more mech guns. But I have more boys and more knobs and more beast nagas. They're all just sitting right here. Oh, another unit of commandos. 2 Def Dreads that I might try to make into 3. A fire truck conversion. Because putting Burna Boys in a fire truck would be amazing. But overall, this army gets that 1 month out of the year, and even though I own many, many more armies than months, they still deserve that whole month. And they might not be my first army, my Tyranids. They might not be my first Age of Sigmar army, the Skaven. But this is one of those armies that I don't think I'll ever have completely done. There's always going to be something else to add to it. And I'm good with that. I mean, Orks have so many options, and they're all so fun. And I mean, it's one of the few armies that I have flyers for. That should say something. And then I don't have anything bigger than a Stompa in my collection. I mean, these are huge compared to Knights. Wasn't planning on this, but for reference, that's a Questoris. Or not Questoris, that's a Castigator. That's the bigger one. And yeah, it might be about the same height without having the pipes and stuff, but just the volume difference is huge. So, you know, even there, it's just a matter of there's so much to this army. And I still have huge, huge gaps in it. I don't have any Mega Knobs. I don't have any Killicans. I only have 1 unit of the Squighog boys. I only have 1 of each of these characters, except for the Pain Boy. I mean, some of these are named, and I don't want those being duplicated, but I mean, I don't even have a Gazgul in my collection. And yet, I have... What is this? 6,000 or 7,000 points of Orks? And I just want to keep on going. This is a great army. I do love the fact that they can go on the battlefield, and so long as they get to Crumpin or a lot of Daka, they don't really care if they win. They just have a table presence that is way more fun than the majority of other games that I've played. Like, when I'm playing my Space Marines, they either get their charges off and win, or they super shoot something and they win, or they fail completely because of that. And Orks, they can just do things, and they get to DACA, they get to charge, they get to fight, and one way or another, they're going to have some fun. I mean, what's better than bringing a Stompa to the battlefield? Well, I don't know. I haven't done it yet. But October 2025, I'm going to bring 2 Stompas to a game. Yup. Because why not? Like, there's no reason not to. I think that and some mech, some mechs, maybe a big mech, and a couple of units of grots. I think that would be fun. Just to see what it does. Doesn't have to be amazing, but then what about a Stompa and a whole bunch of mech guns, you know? Like, there's so many different combinations that can be really hilarious. The last game I played, I've of course played Green Tide because boys before toys. That's why I've built up that 2,000 points of almost all infantry before looking at the big Stompas. But even still, I have all these Ludas and Burnas and Boys and Beastnagas just waiting to be painted up as well. So, I don't know, it's just such a great army, and there's so many cool aspects to it. It's not Space Marine with this gun, Space Marine with that gun, Space Marine with the other gun, sneaky Space Marines. With, we have sneaky. Sneaky exists, but they're also good for crumping. And I love that. There's so many more aspects to the Orks than to the Space Marines. And so, maybe one day I'll get more flyers. That's not something I'm going to say about any other army, because flyers aren't great. But you know what? A DACA jet, a Whaaaghammer, or, any of them. They're just fun. So, and I like the fact that my trucks are completely converted. I mean, it's not like I couldn't build a regular truck, but it's just something I wanted to do. I wanted to have fun with making sprue vehicles and loot everything. And that's fine. I mean, being able to get the mech guns built, 4 of them out of a kit instead of 1, plus finish off my Defcoptas with the conversions, because back in the day you could only purchase them in units of 1. Well, you could take them in units of 1. It's great that I have those now. And so it's just a fun army to look at what you have and what you can make of it. And then, you can even do the Grot Liberation Force, Like, just run a whole bunch of Grots. Run, I still am upset because I wanted to have some Grot tanks, and they discontinued them. They put them to Legends before I actually got any. Because, honestly, I'll still probably do those conversions eventually. Because just because GW says otherwise doesn't mean I'm not going to add them to my army. Because this is a fun army. I don't care what GW says. And that's part of the fun. So, the big thing is I don't know what I would want to add to this next. I mean, I'm adding the Stompa right now. I have a third of it built so far, but I have plenty to build up and get ready, and I have plans to get that extra 2,025 points painted up this year. So I'm going to have 4,000 points of painted orcs. So I'm not that worried about what's next. It'll come when it's time. But I don't know. It's just that this is definitely one of those armies that's just so much fun to just add randomly to. So you can't go wrong. If you would like to see a full breakdown of my army list, there is a link to a spreadsheet in the description below. Subscribe if you haven't so that you don't miss any future videos. I also want to thank my patrons and supporters for making these videos possible. And until next time, I hope you find your bit of bliss.